easy. I declare open this graduation ceremony. Please be seated. Good morning, all. What an absolute delight it is for me to be here on this fabulous occasion. Even more special in this 50th anniversary year of the University in Coleraine. Can I offer my sincere congratulations to you all for making it to graduation. It's always a pleasure for me to see all those young, happy faces in front of me. Mind you, I'm not so sure about the folks behind me. Of course, 50 years ago takes us back to 1969. What a year that was. Man landed on the moon. The Beatles played their final live concert on the rooftop of their London recording studio. Believe it or not, the last of the original series of Star Trek aired, just like Ulster University, going where no man or woman had gone before. Coleraine, the final frontier. There was life, Vice-Chancellor, but not as you know it. 1969 was the year of Woodstock, with a stellar cast finishing with the great Jimi Hendrix. He famously said, "If it was up to me, there wouldn't be no such thing as the establishment." More on that theme later. It was the 60s. Sex and drugs and rock and roll, not like a university life at all, I hope. Harvard researcher Timothy Leary was urging the world to turn on, tune in and drop out. Clearly, as you are sitting here today, you've managed the first two and somehow or other avoided the last one. But seriously, your achievement has been outstanding. All that effort to dress up and get here on time. In 1969, a gallon of petrol was 6 shillings, about 30p. And again, I'll leave it to the backbenchers behind me to explain the terms gallon and shilling. They existed before the UK joined the European community. I'm very sorry to say you might need to get to know them again. So here we are, 50 years on from the establishment of a university in Coleraine, and the latest cohort of students to graduate from the university at this campus are even better than those that have gone before. I mean that, really. Your achievement in completing this stage of your studies is indeed fantastic, and you should be so proud, as should your family and friends. You are worthy successors to the many previous generations of students who have walked, in some cases stumbled, damn those heels, across this stage. And I, as Chancellor representing the university, am very proud of you. Whatever you do in the future, you will always know that what you have achieved over the last few years of study has been extraordinary. As you graduate today, remember every end has a new beginning. Today might be the last day for some of you as students of Ulster University, but I believe that your learning will continue after today. Be prepared to learn, explore, make new friends and challenge. At university, you started a journey where you set the rules and you guided yourselves. You left your comfort zones. To continue the Star Trek theme, you have gone where you've not gone before. Your time at university will have opened your minds to new thinking, new challenges, and above all, new opportunities. You are, of course, unique, and will rise to those challenges in your own unique way. As Beethoven said, in his own language, "Fürst, was Sie sind, sind Sie durch Zufall geboren. Was ich bin, bin ich durch mich. Fürsten hat es und wird es noch Tausende geben. Beethoven gibt es nur einem." You know you've made it when you're born in Britain, you can quote Beethoven in German. For the few of you who don't have German, that, of course, means, Prince, what you are by chance and birth. What I am through me. There are princes and there will still be thousands. Beethoven, there's only one. Sounded much better in German, to be fair. But you're intelligent people, you get the point. There is only one of you, and your time at this university has given you the skills to shape your passion and to enable you to contribute to society in whatever way you choose. Now, I know there was a reason why I referred to Jimi Hendrix's comment about there being no such thing as the establishment. There is some thought that goes into these words. I suppose Hendrix, and many like him, would have been considered anti-establishment. Indeed, the 60s, particularly 1968-69, saw many challenges to the establishment across the world. Student protests and riots in many countries called for change, broadly in the space of individual freedoms and human rights. And I suppose if there is a point to these words, it is about the importance of the role of universities, and critically the students, the graduates and the staff of universities, to pose questions to accepted norms and to redefine the establishment, to reflect society rather than society conforming to some sort of constructed norm. So it is not for me to respond to Henrik's comment on your behalf. I hope I've done so in some way in my own right. But as I have the privilege to address you, I believe it is incumbent upon me to encourage you, as you graduate from here today, to create new norms and shape the establishment that you want, to develop communities and societies which, whilst recognising the importance of individual rights and freedoms, also uses those rights and freedoms to the benefit of all. Enough, I hear you say. We get the message. Today, you want to celebrate, and celebrate you should, and I'm sure you're all ready to hit the town with your family and friends. My sympathies are entirely with the staff of Bar 7, the Harbour, there are more. They'll not know what's hit them. Party away, but once the partying is over, I would ask you to reflect again on the role you will have in shaping the development of society. Just over 50 years ago, the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1968 passed into law in the United States a few days after that great campaigner, Martin Luther King Jr., was assassinated. And on a more sombre note, can I pay tribute to my great friend and graduate of this university, Ivan Cooper, a key driver in the civil rights campaign here. Ivan passed away last week, and I and the university community are deeply saddened by his passing. Thank you, Ivan. As I finish, I can do no better than to leave you with the words of that great man, King, as you embark on the next stages of your life's journey. He said, "The trailblazers in human, academic, scientific and religious freedom have always been nonconformists." Congratulations again. Enjoy the rest of your lives. Thank you. In accordance with the wishes of the Senate and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I have conferred honorary degrees and other academic distinctions of the University of Ulster on those named in the conferment list approved by the Senate. I call upon Dr. Barr to present Tony Macaulay for the honorary degree of Doctor of Letters.
Chancellor. The author, broadcaster and peace builder Tony Macaulay was born in Belfast in the mid-1960s and grew up in an interface area between north and west of the city in the height of the Troubles. His childhood in that area has played a major role in many aspects of his life, influencing his choice of career and literary writings, both of which have focused on breaking down barriers in a divided society. Tony is the middle child of a family of 3 brothers, so, as you can imagine, he gained some experience of dealing with conflict as well as the skills of negotiating and peace building quite early in his life. He was the first in his family to gain an undergraduate degree, and he is, like those students here today, a graduate of Ulster University, or what was then the new University of Ulster, gaining a BA Honours in Communication Studies in the mid-1980s. For many of our students graduating today, their experiences at Ulster University will have shaped key aspects of their lives, and the rooms on this campus will hold many memories, whether that was your first ever lecture or a 9:15 class on a Thursday morning after Kelly's the night before. For Tony Macaulay, the Coleraine campus has a particular importance, because it was in LT 17 where he met Leslie, who would later become his wife. In fact, last year, when he returned to the Coleraine campus to address our PGCE students from the School of Education, he asked to be taken back to that lecture theatre to relive memories from that first meeting with his wife. Tony currently lives in Portstewart with his wife Leslie, and we are delighted that Leslie, along with their daughters Beth and Hope, are here today. Tony Macaulay has spent over 30 years working to build peace and reconciliation both at home and abroad. In that time, he has worked with hundreds of youth and community groups, schools, churches and government agencies promoting diversity, equality and social inclusion. In the 1980s, he lived and worked on the Peace Line in North Belfast. In the 1990s, he worked for the National Council of YMCAs of Ireland and developed cross-border youth programmes to build relationships and foster mutual understanding. Drawing on his experiences of growing up in the Upper Shankill Road area of Belfast, Tony has channelled his memories and observations into literature as another way of building conversations about peace and reconciliation. His debut work, the critically acclaimed memoir Paperboy, was penned in a coffee shop in Portstewart and is a story that recounts some of his experiences of Northern Ireland's turbulent history with some entertaining highlights. Paperboy has now been published in the UK and Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Canada and the US. In 2018, Paperboy was adapted into a musical which premiered in the Lyric Theatre in Belfast to sell-out audiences and to excellent reviews. Later this year, in August, Paperboy is returning to the Lyric. In preparation for staging that musical, Tony personally oversaw auditions in leisure centres across the interface areas of Belfast to ensure that children from all communities and social groups had the opportunity to play a part in his work. Such has been the influence of Tony's book that Paperboy is now a set text in the national curriculum for 15-year-olds studying English in Norway. So we can only imagine how many Norwegian teenagers are now learning to speak English with a Belfast accent. The sequel to the first book, Breadboy, was published in 2013 and generated similarly high levels of critical acclaim. Tony's third book, All Growed Up, which tells the story of his years at the New University of Ulster, was published in 2014. In his latest book, Little House on the Peace Line, Tony tells the story of how, in the 1980s, he lived and worked on the Peace Line in North Belfast, tackling poverty and unemployment, as well as supporting young people to reject sectarianism, segregation and violence as a way of life. Tony's work with young people in socially disadvantaged situations in a divided society has enabled him to work with local and national organisations that have young people at the core. In 2014 and 16, he was asked to present the Duke of Edinburgh Gold Awards to young people from Northern Ireland on behalf of His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh. Tony is passionate about encouraging educational aspiration in children and young people in Northern Ireland and has been active in the development of integrated education in the country. He was a founding parent governor of Spires Integrated Primary School and Sperrin Integrated College. He has also served as chair of the Board of Trustees of Contact NI, the counselling charity that provided the Lifeline Suicide Prevention Helpline. He has been a speaker at conferences on suicide prevention, writing and speaking openly about his own family experience of suicide in order to reduce stigma and save lives. His work extends outside Northern Ireland, and he is currently coaching a youth empowerment project in Kampala in Uganda, working with children who live in conditions of extreme poverty. Tony has applied his experience in conflict resolution into leadership development and management of change and transition in many organisations across the world, and he currently works as a leadership development consultant with global organisations such as Concentrix, RBS and HSBC. Tony is also a regular speaker on Northern Ireland on peace building and creative writing in local and national media, as well as in many universities and colleges in the US. Each year, during our graduation ceremonies, we encourage our graduates to go into the world and to be the best that they can be, and to make a positive difference to the lives of others. Tony Macaulay personifies these qualities, as he demonstrates the characteristics of someone who has made that difference on the lives of many. His humility and Christian faith shine out from the words he writes. They shine as brightly as the warm and colourful pictures that he paints of life in 1970s Belfast, at what was a very dark time in our history. Through his words, he conjures up humour in the face of adversity. That humour is what this part of the world is very well known for. Chancellor, in the name of the Senate, I present Tony Macaulay for the honorary degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa.
The degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa. I call upon Professor Seawright, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, to present candidates.
For the degree of Master of Arts in English Literature, Curtis William White. Peter Carlyle. Alicia Jan Asuncion. William Andrew Miller. Jamie Victoria Robinson. Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Art and Design, Katrina Aldridge. Ella Campbell. Francis Devlin. Corey Dickerson. Eva Gray. Christopher Garth McFettridge. Rachel Sonia Margaret Miller. Fiona Neal. Claire Nichol. Sarah Patricia O'Carroll. The Postgraduate Certificate in Education in English with Drama and Media Studies, Hannah Dunlop. Kieran Kerwin. Katrina Nuala McAleer. Katrina McCaffrey. Erin Susan McClure. Cherie Ann McLaughlin. The Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Geography, Sarah Naomi Bingham. Laura Henderson. Kiva Marie Lavery. Richard James McGregor. Jack Wesley McMahon. Rebecca Mitchell. Hannah Patricia Murphy. Ben O'Donnell. James Michael Smith. The Postgraduate Certificate in Education and History, Krista Laverne Beggs McCormick. Alison Ellen Early. Connor McCashin. Tomas McCrossan. Mary O'Hara. Jake Proctor. Jordan Shearer. Stephanie Kirsten Watson. The Postgraduate Certificate in Education and Home Economics, Ashley Lorraine Collins. Anne Teresa Coyle. Shannon Donnelly. Catherine Amy Duggan. Rebecca Johnson. Hannah Joanne Logan. Niamh McCollum. Jenna Victoria McKeown. Claire O'Neill. Emer Toner. Alison, Rachel, Lisa, Jane, Wynne. The Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Music, Rebecca Emily Armstrong. Jennifer Ruth Bell. Zachary Andrew Campbell. Olivia Lee Goodman. Ruth Jess. Connor Joseph McCarthy. Campbell Robert Colin Morrison. James Michael Murphy. Rebecca Jane Quinn. The Postgraduate Certificate in Education and Physical Education, Hannah Adair. Ronan Devlin. Shauna Devlin. Emma Jane Gervin. Daniel Jackson. Anna Marie McGee. Shannon McChrystal. Francis James McEldowney. Matthew Paul Reid. Murren Scully. Peter Weir. The Postgraduate Certificate in Education and Primary Education, Shannon Armour. Very popular. Jenna Bothwell. Caroline Bradley. Maria Canavan. Sarah Ellen Carlin. Jeremiah Jameson Donald. Donald Dunlop. Shannon May Elliott. Cathal Foyle. Jenny Maureen Hawkins. Rachel Suzanne Hegarty. Thomas Edward Hosker. Rebecca Keeley. Lydia Lafferty. Kate Lagan. Cathal Logue. Emma Mason. Nuala McCloskey. Anya Marie McGowan. Megan McGrory. Grania McKeown. Laura McLaughlin. Kieran Patrick McNamee. Alison Avril Moore. Sandra Pamela Muniz Cabrera. Carrie Ann O'Hagan. Amy Quinn. Tim William Reynolds. Sally Jane Stewart. Rachel Sarah Wark. The Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Technology and Design, David Goodall. Rachel Jane Hoy. Brian Mark Ingram. Paul Rice. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Applied Languages and Translation and Diploma in International Academic Studies, Emma Brawley. Lindsay Jean Dara. Niall Owen Fields. Shannon Linda Boyle. Mark Patrick Joseph Fleming. Jessica Francis Galway. Sarah Johnson. Connor Larkin. Katie McGee. Holly Monaghan. Rebecca Annie Rice. Savine Smith. Lewis Michael Rodney Todd. Laura Hamill. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in English and Diploma in International Academic Studies, Jordan Sean Rafferty. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in English with Education and Diploma in International Academic Studies, Nicola Jane Anderson. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in French and Spanish and Diploma in International Academic Studies, Peter Wildsmith. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in German with French and Diploma in International Academic Studies, Christina Rachel Robinson. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in German with Spanish and Diploma in International Academic Studies, Amy Rebecca Wilson. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in History with Spanish and Diploma in International Academic Studies, Josie McGee. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Media Studies and Production and Diploma in International Academic Studies, Lauren Daly. Margaret Mackle. Connor Murphy. Catherine McConkey. Ashley McCavaney. Shannon McNeely. Callum Sweetlove. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Spanish with Education and Diploma in International Academic Studies, Laura Carmel Johnson. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Spanish and with French and Diploma in International Academic Studies, Eileen Francis Barrett. Aidan Joseph Benson. Anna McCalshin. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in English with Education and Diploma in Professional Practice, Lauren Watson. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in English and French and Diploma in Professional Practice International, Tracy Farrell. Hayley Johnson. Leah McLarlin. Emily Munro. Degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in French with International Development and a Diploma in Professional Practice International, Kiva McCullough. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in German with Spanish and Diploma in Professional Practice International, Grace Kerr. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Spanish with Business and Diploma in Professional Practice International, Christopher McGinley. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Applied Languages and Translation, Katie Elizabeth Kears. Natalia Polo Mullen. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in English, Connor James. Donal McNerney. Catherine Black. Jennifer Isabel Clark. Sarah Jacqueline Glass. Zach Christopher Ansley Gowing. Lachlan Hughes. Denise McGee. Joshua MacDonald. Jessica McGuinness. Christy Jean McElvenna. Lauren Stanley. Fergal Carlton Molyneux Wiseman. Bethany Chloe Allen. Kelsey Farlow. Chloe Stevenson. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in English and History, Dylan Templeton. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in English and Media Studies, Ian Hardy. Sarah Catherine Hill. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in English with Education, Maria Giuseppa Connor. Dervla Nugent. Rhiannon O'Boyle. Maciusz Wilczewski. Niall Carey Brownlow. Hannah Marie McKirkin. Caitlin Marie Taylor. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in English and History, Isaac Wilcox. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in English with Spanish, Cara Bovard. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in French and Spanish, Ricardo Quattromano. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in History, Francis Adrian. Kathleen Beattie. Finbar Brawley. Sarah Bunting. Molly Callahan. Sarah Christina Cathcart. Sean Hughes. Matthew David Lynn Booth. Niall James McCleary. Jack Morgan. Paul Brendan Morgan. Jennifer Marie Ann Quigley. Jason Balmer. Samantha Bailey. Daniel James Blaine. Aoife Sarah Bolster. Chloe Craig. Daniel Doonan. Nicole Gallagher. Owen Grimley. Ellie Kennedy. Abigail Lamont. Terry McConnell. Michael McMullen. James McNally. Mary Beth Millaw. Jonathan Montgomery. Andrew Moore. Nicola Morrow. Gareth Wilson Ney. Aaron O'Hara. Shannon O'Neill. Amy Rose Patterson. Alison Melissa Scott. Ellen Shirley. Carolyn Elizabeth Simpson. Gary Simpson. Nathan Thompson. Connor Tunney. David Walker. Sarah White. Connor Corey. Michael Curran. Joshua Robinson. Nisha Tomlinson. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in History and Media Studies, Alexander Mark Preston. Ryan Cunningham. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in History with Education, Jordan Malcolm. Suzanne Isabel Smith. Connor Gallagher. Mark Graham. Emmett Hughes. Kirsty Maureen Hutchinson. Stephen Thomas McKeesey. Chloe Catherine McGinty. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in History with English, Tulsha Mallon. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in History with Media Studies, Danielle Amanda Telford. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Journalism with Education, Laura Woolley Nunes. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Journalism with English, Victoria Lynn Layton. Laura Smith. Jennifer Curran. Jordan Julie Doherty. Angelina Kelly. Isha Macaulay. John McGovern. Naomi Louise Redding. Rebecca Ashley Tina Rogers. Christian Ross. Connor Sargent. Shannon Thompson. Lauren Rebecca Woods. Rory Fagan. Roisin Ward. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Journalism with History, Jonathan Brown. Rachel Sarah Hessen. Scott Brown. Got more than 2 tickets. Lauren Grace Shivers. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Media Studies and Production, Cyril Mairead Earl Collins. Connor David Finn. Connell McStravick. Glenn Aston. Michael Patrick Braniff. Aaron Fleming. Emma Jane Keenan. Neve Ann Kelly. Holly King. Ross McGee. Sarah Marley. David Gardner McCluggage. Mary Louise McKenna. Ross Nicholson. Amy Alexandra Nolan. Jamie Patterson. Jordan Rashbrook. Mark Rogers. Michael Sharp. Sarah Michelle Wallace. Callum Warren. Connor Warren. Christopher Flanagan. Sean Allen Goldthorpe. Tiarna Hardy. Ben Heath. Holly Mallon. Erin Mackerleen. Kerry Mooney. Daniel Morgan. Donal O'Toole. Aisling Sweeney. Erin Thompson. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Media Studies with Chinese, Lauren Emma Sansom. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Media Studies with English, Lauren Irwin. Hannah Smith. Chloe Stevenson. The degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Media Studies with Marketing, Lewis Edgar. Naomi Watson. The degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours in Interactive Media and Diploma in Professional Practice, Lauren Shireen McConkey. Ryan Thomas Pendleton. Stephen Mervyn Taylor. Owen Patrick Traynor. Matthew McGuigan. The degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours in Interactive Media and Diploma in Professional Practice International, Cormac Donaghy. The degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours in Interactive Media, Chloe Louise McMaster. Emily Traynor. Aisling Butcher. Jonathan Isaac Clark. Jamie William Robert Dorman. Matthew Eccles. Robert Joseph Graham. Abia Greer. Christina Mallon. Leah Natalia Neeson. Connor Parr. Nachirfon Williamson. Megan Workman. Lisa Dillon. Kelsey Hume. Neve Milling. Saoirse Marie McVeigh. Jack Nolan. Vice-Chancellor, this concludes the presentation of candidates from the Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences.
Thank you, Professor Seawright, for presenting candidates. I'll have what Scott Brown and a young fellow called Ross's fathers are having. Also, you know you're home when one of the graduates says, "Cheers, Jimmy, big lad." And finally, I just hope that the student that basically ran across the stage past me got to the toilet in time. Anyway, I now call upon our honorary graduate, Dr. Macaulay, to address the congregation on behalf of those who have been presented.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, members of Council and Senate, graduates and recipients of awards, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this great honour. I am deeply grateful, and thank you, Dr. Barr, for your generous words. First of all, I would like to congratulate everyone here today on your achievements. When I graduated here in 1985, I was the first member of my family to earn a degree. I remember how proud my parents were that day. Then, 3 years ago, I was back here for my daughter Beth's graduation, and I felt that parental pride for myself. All of you here today have so much to be proud of, and I hope you enjoy a brilliant day of celebrations. This university is an important part of my story. As David mentioned, I met my wife Leslie here. Now, I don't want to make my daughters Beth and Hope or any of our new graduates feel queasy, but Leslie and I might just nip down to LT17 later for a wee nostalgic snog. In my book, All Growed Up, I wrote about my first visit to the NUU for my interview in February 1982. And here are the first impressions of a naive 18-year-old from up the Shankill. I was excited to be nearing my future. I knew very little about Coleraine, apart from the fact that it was near the Giant's Causeway and the people up there made cheese. In the same way that the people in Cookstown made Geordie Best sausages. Once I arrived in Coleraine town centre, however, I got lost. I couldn't find the road to the university anywhere. Then at last, to my enormous relief, I recognised the tall building from the front cover of the university prospectus. The new University of Ulster was basically a huge cement skyscraper in a big field beside a lovely river. It was the only skyscraper in Coleraine, although it wasn't anywhere near as tall as the Empire State Building or Divis Flats. I surveyed the imposing institution before me and concluded that the university was accurately named because it looked very new indeed. The campus looked more like the new DeLorean motor factory than Queen's University in Belfast. The main building was connected to other smaller buildings by what appeared to be an exceptionally long bus shelter, spanning the middle of the big field. Hordes of cold-looking students in jeans were walking up and down the bus shelter with books under their arms, and contrary to all that I'd been told, not one of them was smoking marijuana. I instantly wanted to be one of them. I imagined myself in a new pair of jeans, carrying books by poets and philosophers that were too complicated to read, and going to lectures given by bearded men with English accents on every possible ology. So that was the beginning of my story in this place. Of course, as a writer, I believe in the power of stories. To be human is to tell stories. Since the beginnings of human civilization, people sat down in a circle and told each other stories. And the stories they told defined who they were, their vision of the future, what they believed, what was right and what was wrong. I recently led a storytelling workshop with international students in Germany. It was remarkable to hear young people from Syria, Bosnia, Nigeria and Iran describe the ancient storytelling tradition in their culture, and to hear how today's generation around the world is using digital media to share their stories. Out of every experience of violence, suffering and loss, the students were able to create a story of hope and possibility for a better future for their country and the world. For many years, I facilitated conflict resolution workshops. However, 10 years ago, I sat down and wrote my own personal story. My first book, Paperboy, about being a 12-year-old boy growing up in West Belfast in the 1970s, trying to come to terms with the Troubles. Today, that story of a wee lad's experience of the futility of war has probably influenced more people in more places than 3 decades of my conflict resolution workshops. That's the power of a story. And each one of us has our own unique story. Today is an important chapter in your story. So as you look toward the future and plan for the next chapter, remember that you are the author of your own story. I'd like to leave you with an inspiring quote from an eminent doctor. And if you've read any of my books, you won't be surprised to hear that it's a quote from Doctor Who. The doctor once said, "We are all stories in the end. Just make it a good one, eh?" So as you leave here today, at the end of one successful chapter and the beginning of a new chapter, remember, we are all stories in the end. So keep on going and make sure your story is a good one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Macaulay. I now call upon Niall Fields, a new graduate in the Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, to propose a vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, academic staff, fellow graduates, friends and family, ladies and gentlemen. I am privileged to speak to you today on behalf of everyone graduating. I fondly remember my first day here at Ulster University. In particular, I remember being led on what was only described as a very unusual tour by a very unusual man, one of our former colleagues, Dr. Jonathan Leakey. During that tour, I never imagined that I would be standing here today before my peers celebrating what is such an incredible achievement. Studying at Ulster has been such an incredible experience. Reflecting on my time here at Coleraine, I think of the incredible people that I've met, many of whom I will stay in contact with long after this fantastic celebration today. I also think about how I have personally developed, acquiring different skills and experiences and taking full advantages of the opportunities on offer at Ulster, whether it was being heavily involved in student representation through the Students' Union or making the most of my year abroad as an Erasmus student. However, one huge aspect that I think of when I reflect on my time here as a student is the effort of the teaching staff. Having spoken to a large number of students across a wide variety of courses within the faculty as senior rep, the teaching staff at Ulster, particularly here in Coleraine, have always been there for the students. Whether you attended a media lecture of hundreds or a Spanish oral class of just 10 students, the staff have always been happy to answer an email, to arrange a meeting, or just if you ever needed any help or guidance to offer it. I would like to share 2 personal memories that highlight this dedication. We were very lucky to have the fantastic team of teaching staff that we had within the School of Modern Languages. For example, Dr. David Barr, who's probably trying to avoid eye contact with most of you right now, working as the French lecturer as well as simultaneously the head of the School of Modern Languages and Education, often worked through the night to ensure that more work was marked, feedback was given, and queries were responded to in a timely manner. This was even more so the case when he was in both Chile and China on university businesses, where a time difference made this quite awkward. Also, he never turned away any student who came to his door, despite his often quite hectic schedule. And then also, when we think of the final year of our degree, we think of one wonderful word: dissertation. The fantastic project that is the key component of most degree courses and therefore the most stressful for most students. Unfortunately, our dissertations were due at the beginning of January, which meant that we had to sacrifice some time with friends and family over the Christmas period. However, I will always remember receiving an email at 9 o'clock on the morning of Boxing Day from Dr. Stanley Black, hiding at the back there, who was the lecturer for Spanish as well as the Spanish dissertation supervisor, offering any help between then and the deadline. And I think both of these stories epitomise the dedication of the staff here at Ulster, as they were prepared to make the same sacrifices that we were prepared to make sure that we did our best and we fulfilled our potential. This was further reinforced by the overwhelming support shown by our friends and family here today. You were there for us outside of class, outside of university life, being the listening ears to our problems and worries. And when times were hard and we were finding university life difficult, you supported us and gave us the much needed encouragement that helped us get through it and ultimately to where we are today. Now, my fellow graduates, as we stand here today, we must be proud of what we have done. This is such a special achievement that no one can take away from you. What we receive today is the result of our own efforts and the attitudes that we have applied throughout our time here at Ulster. Hard work, determination, perseverance. This has been more so the case whenever we faced difficult times during our studies, whenever there were too many deadlines clustered together, or when we simply struggled to grasp some concept in a lecture. But we did not give up. We dug in deep and spent those extra hours in the library doing research. We spent that extra time after class asking those questions to clarify our doubts. And most of all, we were there for each other. We motivated, we supported and we inspired each other by working as a team. Personally, these have been the most important aspects of our university experiences, which will serve us very well for the future. In conclusion, today is a very special day for us as we all stand proud in celebration. And whether we are moving straight into employment, going on for further study, or even if we are taking some time to assess what the next step actually will be, I am confident that everyone in this room will get to where they want to go in life and, more importantly, where they deserve to be. Thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you, Niall. A quite brilliant, funny and frankly very moving speech. Wherever you go in life, please at some point come home and enter politics here. We need leaders like you. Just to echo Niall's words, this is now an opportunity for you to give a thank you to your loved ones that are here today. Sitting here are mothers who bore you, parents who nurtured you, cherished you, chastised you, were driven mad by you. They sit here justifiably proud of your achievements today. Please, it's time for you to put your hands together and say thank you to them. I declare this graduation ceremony closed and invite the new graduates to join the academic procession.